Shakespeare said, "What is the city but the people? And what is city government but the people who run it?" The community known as Berkley is served by a staff of dedicated individuals, each uniquely qualified to perform his or her duty. Artists, engineers, administrators, financiers, clerks, officers, and maintenance workers combine to provide the city with the best of services in the most efficient manner. Many municipal employees have made the city their home. All have made it their career. From the lady who checks out your book at the library to the man who sweeps your street, from the clerk who issues a license for your pet to the officer who patrols your neighborhood, each is dedicated solely to the upkeep of the services of the community known as Berkley. From the time it was a small farming community, years before the urban growth reached its borders, Berkley has been an active, close-knit community of individuals who truly care about their neighbors. Today, the city is prized for retaining its small-town values and atmosphere while nestled in the center of the Detroit metropolitan area. These values are incorporated into the operational plan of the city. Each employee works to serve the residents of the community, not because it's a directive, but because service is their objective. Tonight, we salute these individuals who have made service their career. We recognize them for the function they perform in our city and for the years of dedication they have provided. Let us take a tour of the city departments and meet the employees who make service to the city of Berkley their full-time job. Some city halls are huge, imposing granite slabs of offices, ornate to the point of intimidation. Berkley City Hall has a town hall feeling, a small, personal building that is home to many city departments. In here, you will find the office of the city manager, John Kurikoff. The city manager carries out the policies that are made by the council and directs and coordinates the work of all city departments. He is the liaison from city government to all the citizens and the elected officials. For 20 years, John Kurikoff has served as manager of this city, a rare feat in the sometimes volatile career of city manager. He is assisted by Secretary Candace Hadley, now in her 16th year with the city. Candy is the frontline contact for citizens, an information source and problem diffuser. She transcribes the council minutes, prepares the council packets, and manages the information needs of this office. Ralph Schwartz, Berkeley's city attorney, is responsible for the legal operations of the city and represents the city in all legal matters and court cases. Now in his 10th year with the city, Ralph writes and amends city codes as directed by council and serves as prosecutor for all violations of city codes, ordinances, and traffic laws. The duties of the city clerk's office are many and varied. The clerk must maintain all public records and conduct city, state, and federal elections. The city clerk is Mary Ann Burton, serving the city for 28 years. Her office provides the public access to all public documents and recordings, maintains the voter registration files, and election equipment. Assisting her is Deputy City Clerk Patricia Stowe, now with the city for 18 years. Pat assists in providing dog and cat licenses, as well as bicycle licenses. One pleasant function is also providing marriage licenses for couples desiring a civil ceremony. Part-time help is provided to the office by longtime city employee Renee Shoemaker, clerk assistant. Renee works with computer data entry and assisting the public at the clerk's counter. The city clerk's office also performs the internal accounting for the city and works with the certified public accountants during the annual audit. Berkeley is recognized as being a clean, lovely city with redeveloping neighborhoods and business districts. This is the function of the Community Development Department, staffed by 8 full-time employees. The Community Development Department comes under the direction of Assistant City Manager William Wagner. In his 15th year with the city, Bill is the city planner, making the city a desirable place in which to live, work, shop, and recreate. Under his guidance, staff members work to maintain the quality of Berkeley's neighborhoods and business districts. The image of the city is based on its outward appearance of the residential and commercial areas. Code enforcement is maintained by Brent Gilbert in his 2nd year of full-time work with the city. Since 1974, Brent has worked in various part-time positions for the city of Berkeley. Brent works to provide a blight-free community by enforcing the city codes concerning, among other topics, rubbish, signs, rental property, and junk cars. Assisting Brent is part-time code enforcement officer Susan Miller-Wise. Effective code enforcement requires constant monitoring of neighborhoods and businesses. An older established community, Berkley is undergoing a youthful resurgence as younger couples decide to make their home in our city and new businesses make Berkley their headquarters. Building Inspector Bill Ross, a 10-year employee of Berkley, is responsible for the inspection and development of new and existing structures in the city, both commercial and residential. Brenda Cole serves the Community Development Department as the Administrative Secretary to Director Bill Wagner. She provides secretarial and administrative support to the Board of Appeals and the Planning Commission. Brenda is a 5-year employee of the city. James DeVore is the new guy on the block in the Community Development Department. Now in his 2nd year with the city, Jim is the housing inspector, covering rental properties in the city, as well as providing low-interest loans for upgrading. Whether a structure is owner-occupied, multiple unit, or commercial, there are rehabilitation programs available. Jim previously worked for the city for 4 years. Patricia Duncan serves the city as receptionist. Whether you call on the phone or call on City Hall in person, Pat can direct you to the person you need to meet to solve your problems. Pat comes to this department from the court, where she has been a city employee since 1979. Barney Burgess is the city's animal control officer. He has a soft heart for animals, but knows that he must take a strong stand against stray or dangerous animals running loose in our city. Now in his 24th year with the city, Barney urges pet owners to make sure their animals are registered in the city and remember that dogs must be kept on a lead when walking through the city. Berkley benefits from strong civic pride in homes and businesses. Building and maintenance of property is an ongoing activity in our city. Building Division Clerk Renee Standen provides valuable guidance to builders by issuing permits and assisting in the application procedure. Renee has been with the city full-time for 3 years. Providing clerical assistance to the department on a part-time basis is high school co-op student Marnie Holton. Michael Tyler serves the city as Assistant City Manager. His duties include finance and personnel duties. A city employee since 1972, Michael oversees operations of the city's extensive computer and telephone systems, as well as preparing the municipal budget. An assistant to Michael Tyler, Jan Cobert, is a 17-year employee of the city. Jan assists in personnel matters, from maintaining health insurance forms to processing disability claims. She is also versed in computer operation. Karen Brown is another full-time assistant in the Finance and Personnel Department. Karen has served the city for over 10 years. Her responsibilities involve upkeep of personnel files, issuing checks, and maintaining the financial books of the city. Lee Garrett has worked in the Treasurer's Department for many years. A 10-year employee of the city of Berkley, Lee now serves the city as the city treasurer. She directs a small department at City Hall responsible for collecting city taxes and maintaining the fiscal cash flow. Alice Brackenbury has worked for the city full-time since 1987. She serves as a clerk cashier in the treasurer's office, handling money for bill payments, as well as those ever-popular garbage bag sales. Previously, Alice worked for the city full-time for 5 years. Kathy Davis is another part-time high school co-op student lending assistance at City Hall. Kathy helps the treasurer's office by providing clerical help, performing cashier duties, and accepting bill payments. Berkley's Department of Public Works takes pride in their services. The principal responsibilities of the department include street maintenance, traffic sign maintenance, snow and ice control, leaf pickup, grass and weed mowing, tree trimming and removal, vehicle maintenance, water and sewer services, and water billings. Let's take a look at these 15 hard-working individuals. Richard Shepler is the director of the Department of Public Works. In his 15th year with the city, Rick comes to the DPW by way of the ice arena, where he was manager for many years. Rick oversees the activities of his department and is there to assist and coordinate, especially in the event of an emergency, 24 hours a day. Jeffrey Cresswell serves as the superintendent of Public Works, an assistant to the Public Works director. In his 12th year of service to the city, Jeff coordinates repair services and keeps up on maintenance of the buildings and facilities in the city. Jackie Clark is the Department of Public Works secretary. She is responsible for fielding requests for service, answering residents' questions, keeping in contact with the numerous employees via radio, as well as keeping track of water bills. Jackie has been with the city for 7 years. Mary Hughes is the new part-timer, assisting in the office functions of the Public Works Department. Mary developed the new recycling brochure and is assisting in the development of the citywide recycling program. Robert Clark is up to his fingertips in water. A good thing, too, because he works for the water department. Bob installs and reads water meters for the city. He runs tests on old meters to make sure that they are up to standard and repairs broken meters. Bob is a 12-year employee of the city. James Costi is a 21-year employee of the Public Works Department. Jim is the city painter, not of portraits, but of curbs and parking lot stripes. Jim also runs the street sweeper and repairs and replaces street signs. Also with the city for 21 years is James Delavan. Jim is officially classified as the city laborer, which means that he works wherever he is needed the most. Part of his responsibilities are cleaning alleys and sidewalks and running the VACOL to clean out the catch basins. Thomas Glacier works for the water department. For over 13 years, Tom has performed maintenance on the water system, including the water mains, residential surfaces, fire hydrants, and sewers. Patrick Maher has been with the city for 16 years. Pat assists Tom Glacier in the water department, fixing main breaks any time of the year. In the winter, he is one of the many members of the Berkley snowplowing force. Stephen Hadley has been with the city for 16 years. He maintains the streets and sewers of Berkley with the help of the new jet Vector truck, letting one man do the work of several. He also performs the enormous task of leaf pickup in the fall when residents are allowed to sweep their leaves into the gutters for pickup. With the number of vehicles in the public works fleet, it takes an on-staff mechanic to maintain them all. Wayne Johnson is the city's mechanic. Wayne, in his 13th year with the city, works on all vehicles, including the 6 dump trucks, 2 backhoes, and 2 street sweepers. Michael Mason is Mr. Lawnmower to Berkley children. All summer long, Mike is out maintaining the parks and boulevards of the city with his mowing equipment. Now entering his 17th year with the city, Mike can also be found installing the many Christmas decorations around the city when the cold weather is upon us. Jameson McKay, also known as Jamie, has worked for the city since 1973. He is a light equipment operator running a variety of machinery in the city. In the fall, you can find Jamie picking up leaves and sweeping streets. David Weiland, with over 24 years of service to the city, is the senior employee in the DPW. Dave's responsibilities include maintenance of catch basins, water gates, and manholes. When there's a water break in the city, the water department will be there to fix it. Nicholas Feaster knows every street in Berkley personally. That's because he drives each and every one of them each week in the street sweeper. Sweeping streets goes beyond just keeping the city looking nice. Sweeping keeps debris from building up and backing up into the city sewers. In his 24th year with the city, Nick, the second most senior employee at the DPW, knows this city well. Berkley's Parks and Recreation Department strives to provide and maintain a recreational system which encourages people to use leisure time for physical and mental development as well as for relaxation. The community center houses the administrative offices which organize year-round activities for our Berkley citizens. Kevin Price is the Recreation Department Director. Now in his 14th year with the city, Kevin is well versed in the recreational needs of the community. He works with the Recreation Advisory Board in developing the city's recreation master plan, using available space in the city to maintain the quality of life. Gregory Cresswell is the Recreation Department Program Coordinator. Greg arranges for the many varied activities the department sponsors on a yearly basis. He works closely with civic groups in the use of city-owned facilities, as well as dealing with problems on an individual basis. Greg has worked for the city for 7 years. Susan Miller comes to the Recreation Department after many years at City Hall. At the Recreation Department, she serves as department secretary, handling the numerous phone inquiries, as well as helping people register for events and classes. Susan has been with the city for 7 years as well. Our Recreation Department also has a senior citizen program providing seniors with free and low-cost services and opportunities for socialization and conversation. There are also opportunities for travel, not only locally, but nationwide and worldwide. Nancy Sinema is the Director of Senior Services for the city. In her 15th year, Nancy coordinates all of the many senior activities, from blood pressure reading to recognition luncheons. Nancy also has the chore and the pleasure of coordinating the many fabulous senior trips, as well as acting as chaperone. Susan Sidema has been with the city for 15 years as well. She serves the senior department as secretary, handling inquiries from the public as well as scheduling events for the seniors. Chris Doe is a new as well as an old member of the recreation department. Chris is the senior outreach coordinator, spending her part-time hours matching up seniors in need with people who can help. Chris has worked for the city in the past and is glad to be back again. She also will begin working with at-risk youth who need guidance and services. Annalie Sidema is another part-timer who assists in the senior department. Annalie is the coordinator of the seniors' Think Thin diet and exercise group. The city's ice arena is full of activities in the winter. Skating programs take place from mid-September to mid-May and include open skating, figure skating lessons, private rentals, and hockey rentals. John Allen is the arena's co-manager. With the city for 8 years, John is in charge of the physical condition of the arena as well as coordinating employees for the maintenance of the facility. Nancy Keener is the other arena co-manager. Nancy coordinates the programs and lessons in the facility, ending each year with the Berkley Ice Show. A part-time employee for many years, Nancy now has been full-time with the city for 6 years. In the summer, her responsibilities include development of the playground activities as well as teaching preschool classes year-round. Assisting the recreation department in maintaining the ball fields and playgrounds as well as the miscellaneous winter programs are part-time employees Dennis Kronk, Brian Davis, and Mark Gildenfenning. The Berkley Library is more than just books. It's many dedicated employees providing informational, educational, and recreational resources for the community. The department provides programs for all ages, preschool through adults. Celia Morse is the library director. A city employee since 1983, Celia is a professional librarian who coordinates a staff of 16 employees, both full and part-time. She is responsible for materials acquisition, including books, CDs, and videotapes. Alex Crenson is the children's librarian. He provides many activities for children, including story time, Saturday movies, holiday and craft programs, and the popular summer reading programs that attract almost 500 children each year. Alex has been with the library since 1987. Assisting the children's librarian is part-time professional librarian Molly Prudhomme. With the library for just less than a year, Molly assists in children's programs and also takes a turn at running story time for the youngsters. Karen Endress is the library's full-time secretary. Karen assists patrons at the front counter as well as handling supply ordering, report writing, and maintaining the financial books. Karen has been with the library for 10 years. The library maintains a small collection of materials at Oxford Park Towers. Linda Tucker, a city employee for 11 years, is at the Towers 2 afternoons a week to assist residents and to provide other materials from the main library as needed. Like Linda, Claudia Pajot is a library clerk. Among Claudia's many duties are handling telephone inquiries, checking out library materials, and typing catalog cards. Claudia has been a library employee for many years, but has been full-time since 1986. Carol Leghorn is a part-time library clerk. With the library for less than a year, Carol assists in checkout procedures on the library's computerized circulation system. Holly Martin is also a part-time assistant. With the library for less than a year, Holly is in charge of the ever-changing and always entertaining showcase display. Anna Doree is a desk assistant for just under a year. Among her many duties at the library is organizing and labeling the extensive videotape collection. Another new part-time desk assistant is Susan Carman. Susan assists at the circulation desks as well as labels and checks in the audio tapes and books on cassette. To assist patrons in finding the information they need, the library is staffed with a professional librarian at all times. Senior among the professional librarians is Joy Cleaves. With the library since 1966, Joy can remember when the library was in a storefront on Coolidge. Joy loves working at the children's desk and has made thousands of little friends over the years. Second on the seniority list is Lillian Greenhut, now in her 21st year with the library. Lillian is in charge of cataloging the new books as they come into the library, as well as staffing the reference desks. Ruth Keller is another familiar face at the Berkley Library. A part-time professional librarian since 1970, Ruth is also in charge of collecting materials for the vertical reference file. Newspaper clippings about current events and local history are preserved by Ruth. A new part-time librarian at the library, Elizabeth Gregory, comes to Berkley from the Detroit Public Library. Elizabeth has been on staff for over 2 years, assisting patrons to find the materials they require or finding the answers to some pretty tough questions. Also at the library for almost 3 years is professional librarian Jerry Kapoor. In addition to her part-time reference duties, Jerry has the responsibility of ordering the numerous videotapes for the collection. WBRK, the City of Berkeley's municipal cable channel, was organized to provide a means and opportunity for citizens to become informed about city services, events, regulations, and decisions being made by their representatives, both elected and appointed. There are numerous limited series and special programs produced locally that are of interest to Berkeley residents, including City Council meetings, Board of Appeals and Planning Commission meetings, a monthly news program, a monthly senior citizens program, the City Manager's interview program, and specials like the Ice Show, Christmas, and Berkeley Days parades. Day-to-day operations are the responsibility of Cable Coordinator Susan Doris, a city employee for 5 years. Sue trains and supervises volunteers to assist in program production, as well as overseeing 2 part-time employees. Under her direction, WBRK now programs over 60 hours per month with numerous locally produced award-winning television shows. Nancy J. Line has been a video production assistant for over a year. Her responsibilities include equipment setup, program editing, script writing, and news gathering for the monthly news program. With the city for less than a year, production assistant Gregory A. Koss has been seen behind the camera, whether it's in studio or on location. Greg is responsible for various reporting beats in the city, like City Hall, as well as producing the video channel identification tapes. District Court 45A is located at City Hall and is a trial court having jurisdiction within the city of Berkeley. The duties of day-to-day administration of the court are the responsibilities of the court administrator and the clerks. They are Court Administrator Donna Young, now in her 8th year in the district court. Donna oversees the operations of the office and serves as court recorder, taking and transcribing testimony and court proceedings for the official record. Elizabeth B.J. Allaire is the court's criminal clerk. Her duties are to oversee the criminal cases that come before the court. Cases of a serious nature, such as drunk driving or murder, are her responsibility to follow, whether they are state or city cases. B.J. has been with the court since 1983. Lori Anger is the court's traffic clerk. Lori oversees the civil infraction cases, such as moving traffic violations and misdemeanors. She arranges for informal hearings by issuing subpoenas to police officers, as well as arranging for formal hearings where the city's attorney would be present. Lori has been a full-time employee with the court for 2 years. Patricia Morgan is the civil clerk. She oversees cases coming before the small claims court, which are matters involving up to $1,500. Her responsibilities are to follow those cases from first filings all the way through to resolution. Pat is a 10-year employee of the court. Laura Vitchus is a former co-op student who is in her first year of full-time work with the court. Laura performs general clerical duties for the court office as well as for the probation department. She runs reports for the office and assists the public at the counter. The city of Berkeley combined its police and fire services in February of 1983, creating a public safety department with personnel cross-trained in both basic police and fire skills. The department operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The public safety officers respond to all police, fire, and medical emergencies. Public Safety Director William Recklin took over as chief in 1987. He supervises the largest department in the city, in addition to being the official spokesman for the Public Safety Department. Public Safety Department Secretary Timmy Lindsay has been a city employee for 25 years. Timmy is in charge of maintaining all of the department's records and permits. Police Service Aide Donna Penn is a civilian employee of the department. With the city for 14 years, Donna handles clerical duties in addition to police dispatch. New to the department, but not to the city, is Police Service Aide Mary Jerome. A civilian employee, Mary has been full-time for 3 years, coming to the department from previous employment at City Hall for 11 years. Sergeant Richard Penn is a familiar face to the youth of Berkley. That's because he is in charge of the department's youth bureau, giving drug and safety presentations to school children. Now in his 24th year, Rick handles complaints involving children under the age of 17, including abuse, neglect, and delinquency, as well as criminal. Now in his 25th year with the city, Robert Roy is the city's fire expert. Bob takes great pride in fire training and maintaining the department's 2 fire trucks. This year, Bob produced a videotape on fire safety training at Oxford Park Towers Senior Citizen High-Rise that will be used by several area departments. 17-year veteran Lieutenant Bruce Henderlight not only supervises a shift of public safety employees, but also coordinates the activities of the part-time school crossing guards. Lieutenant Carlton Payne has been with the city for 23 years. In addition to supervising a shift, Lieutenant Payne, or Bud, patrols the streets of Berkley. Sergeant William Wagner is also a longtime member of the force. Bill joined the force in 1965, making him a 24-year member of the department. Sergeant Michael Tuzinski has been a member of the Public Safety Department for 10 years. His responsibilities include supervising a shift of men in conjunction with Sergeant Wagner. Sergeant Robert North is also an expert at firefighting. Recently, this 10-year veteran supervised a firefighting drill at Oxford Park Towers using members of the department as well as volunteer firefighters. Sergeant Peter Kelly has been with the department only since 1983, making him one of the newer members of the department. Sergeant Kelly supervises road patrols under the direction of the shift lieutenant. With the city only 3 years, Officer Scott Champagne has received a very valuable commendation. Scott received an award from Mothers Against Drunk Driving for his outstanding efforts in arresting drunk drivers. In case of emergency, contact 21-year veteran James Cox. Officer Cox is the city's emergency medical technician, offering assistance at injury accidents that require medical attention. Officer Stephen Whiting is also trained in providing emergency medical assistance. Steve is a 12-year veteran of the Berkley Public Safety Department. Safety lessons can begin at any age. Public Safety Officer Larry Foltz knows this, and that's why he participates in safety lectures to school children. Larry is a 15-year veteran of the department. Officer Ronald Pruitt is the expert on auto theft. This 20-year veteran of the force gives lectures and demonstrations on how you can keep your vehicle safe from thieves. Public safety officers handle such varied duties as traffic enforcement, accident and criminal investigation, preventative patrol, fingerprinting, firefighting, patrolling the streets of our city, and issuing handgun permits. Among these officers are David Burris, 20-year veteran; Mark Chambers, 17-year veteran; Michael Boyle, 7-year veteran; Harold Marshall, 6-year veteran; Michael Garnett, 3-year veteran; David Koss, 3-year veteran; Thomas Zenzel, 3-year veteran; William Alford, 3-year veteran; Raymond Hella, 2-year veteran; James McDonald, 2-year veteran; Thomas Zulch, also a 2-year veteran; and James Smith with the force just over a year. Officer John Franzoni wins the award for newest officer on the force. Officer Franzoni joined the department in February of 1989. Among the officers we were unable to photograph but deserve recognition nonetheless are Officer Albert Spaeth, a a 21-year veteran. Officer Mark Williams, on special assignment with the county, has been with the department since 1978. Detective Raymond Anger has been on the job since 1971. And Detective Roy Itami has been with the city since 1970.